Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. If you haven't already, please take a second just to
smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So let's get straight to it.
It's about to get a whole lot rougher for humanity. It looks like they finally have a date, allegedly, to sacrifice the red cow. It says Israelis submit request to police to allow an altar and knives to slaughter red cows on the 22nd at Al-Aqsa Mosque. And in 1 second, I'll show you something extremely weird that happened when the eclipse happened. But this is Al-Aqsa Mosque. It sits right where the second temple, Solomon's temple, was. I have a feeling God is not going to like this. What we're about to see is of biblical proportions. At the same exact time, we have Israel taking soldiers out of Gaza because they are about to be attacked by Iran. And while this is happening, other countries are already picking sides because they know this is going to change the world. And this behind me is when the leader of Hamas just found out that his 3 children were unalive in this conflict. Could you even imagine? And when the eclipse happened a couple days ago, there was someone watching the Windy app, and right when it happened, this giant vortex just randomly opened up, allegedly near Antarctica.
I'm going to document this very weird anomaly taking place on NIETZSCHE. I don't know what this blob is here, but it's coming from what looks like Antarctica. If we backtrack a little bit, you're going to see it disappear and reappear on the screen. So we move into Monday the 8th, which was obviously 3 days ago. Watch as we move into Tuesday, this mass pops up with waves of 83.7 feet in height. What in God's name is this thing moving out of Antarctica, as you can see, and then it moves up the coast of Africa into the Atlantic Ocean. Watch this as we move into Wednesday the 10th, Thursday the 11th, which is today. This is going on right now. I don't know if these waves are actually hitting the coast or if this is some sort of glitch in the system, but I've never seen anything like this. This giant blob is showing 83.7 foot waves. This does not seem to be any sort of storm system. Let me zoom back out here.
You're right, it wasn't a storm system. It's a massive blob of energy that was conjured by maybe allegedly. And we can see that this massive conjured blob of energy is the thing that was screwing with the Schumann frequency when the resonance of the Earth was disappearing the day after the eclipse. Things are getting weird.
My condolences. At the end of the day, regardless of what side a person's on, that man was still a father. So, I know that news hurt and angered him at the same time, probably. But it's crazy that it was captured, right? Like, with the cameras, like in real time. Like, imagine, like, with technology today, 20 years ago, you know, I don't know, who would have had that kind of footage captured. So, you know, sad, but yeah, they're saying there's a date for this red heifer now. They're saying the 22nd. I don't know if it's true, supposedly, right? But gotta do more research before we confirm something like this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Did you guys hear the news about what just came out of Antarctica? They don't know what this is, but here it is right here. What you're looking at is a map that shows the waves on the planet. And the numbers over here is how high these waves are. So what you're looking at is this huge dark energy cloud that just came out of Antarctica. And nobody knows what this is. It's heading to Africa right now, and eventually, and look at this, y'all, eventually it's gonna make its way to the Atlantic Ocean. Check this out.
I'm trying to document this very weird anomaly taking place on NIETZSCHE. I don't know what this blob is here, but it's coming from what looks like Antarctica. If we backtrack a little bit, you're going to see it disappear and reappear on the screen. So we move into Monday the 8th, which was obviously 3 days ago. Watch as we move into Tuesday. This mass pops up with waves of 83.7 feet in height. What in God's name is this thing? thing moving out of Antarctica, as you can see, and then it moves up the coast of Africa into the Atlantic Ocean. Watch this as we move into Wednesday the 10th, Thursday the 11th, which is today. This is going on right now. I don't know if these waves are actually hitting the coast or if this is some sort of glitch in the system, but I've never seen anything like this. This giant blob is showing 83.7 foot waves. This does not seem to be any sort of storm system. Let me zoom back out here. Let's move forward and see where this thing is projected to go. Watch this. Here's Friday the 12th tomorrow, moving more up the African coast. Here is Saturday the 13th. We can see it start to wrap around the northern western coast of Africa up into the Atlantic. Here is Sunday the 14th. Monday the 15th, we are in the Atlantic Ocean with waves of 62.1, 63 feet. This is just incredible. Here is Tuesday the 16th, and look, the entire thing is now in the Atlantic Ocean with averages of about 40 feet. There's 44, 33, 34.3. This is just very weird. What are we looking at here? Here's Wednesday the 17th, the last available data for this. And now we see the entire Atlantic Ocean, which, as we've discussed, is already months ahead of time as far as temperatures. And we're looking at this very odd anomaly coming out of Antarctica. Now watch, I'm going to backtrack. I'll show you where this thing begins. We'll go all the way back to Monday the 8th. This is where the anomaly begins, and sometimes it glitches out. It's very weird. Here's Tuesday the 9th, and there it is. Pops right up. It's almost like this thing shot out of Antarctica and up towards the African coast. And as we backtrack in hours, we go to 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., and that's where it pops up between 5 and 8 p.m. This thing does not exist, and then it does exist on Tuesday the 9th at 8 p.m. After that, it just slowly moves up into the African coast. Here is the 10th once again, Thursday the 11th, Friday the 12th, Saturday the 13th, Sunday the 14th, Monday the 15th, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, this thing bleeds all the way into the Atlantic Ocean. My friends,
Y'all see that thing is coming out of Antarctica? And for the people who have been rocking with me, I've been telling y'all what lives in Antarctica. Y'all know what lives in Antarctica. And then for this to take place the day after the eclipse, when I told y'all things are going to get a lot more interesting. Now, this is not the first time the planet has seen 70 to 90 foot tall tsunamis. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time, because the planet is going through a cleanup right now, y'all. But this early, and then the weather patterns for the Atlantic Ocean is already high, y'all. Oh man, things again. It's going to get a lot more interesting. This is not to cause fear. I am spreading information. But can somebody tell me what is going on with this? What's all this dark energy showing up on the weather map lately? Because if you remember, y'all, this dark energy, look at that, y'all. It just came from Louisiana. It just cleaned up Louisiana. And now this is on the coast of Africa, and it's heading right to the coast of the United States, y'all. Y'all see what's going on here? So what do you guys think about this video here? This is strange, huh? This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during this interesting times. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Keep up with me on my other accounts where I go deeper on the esoteric level with these topics at hand. Let's get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
Shout out to Conscious Juice, reiterating what Inspired by the King had said about that anomaly on the graph chart. Huge 70 to 90 foot waves was headed to Africa. That's crazy. And it came out the direction of Antarctica. What could it be? Did like a piece of the ice wall break off or something? Just floated? I don't know. So I can't fathom waves that tall just moving. Like, yo, that's pretty creepy if you ask me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Are you keeping track of anything that Devin is saying or his workout last week?
Once you go to a swimming pool party with Diddy, it's like you don't even pay attention to what the he's saying. But at the end of the day, once your booty hole got tickled, it's over.
What are we going to see from Ryan Garcia?
None of that. It's going to be light work for me. Another day in the office. It's going to be one of those things where you're just like, yo, hold my beer, watch this. I'm Usain. He's those other runners that we can't even name. Who's the second fastest runner in the world? We don't know. When I step into NYC, it's going to be crazy. And then we're going to light one up right after. 420, baby. I might do it in the rain. After that, I'm like, what's next? You know, hit up a club, do something. You know, I'm not even going to be worried that I just knocked somebody out and became a WBC champion. I do appreciate it, though. Shout out WBC. Devin Haney stressing the out. No.
Why do you think he's stressing?
He's probably with his dad just scratching his head like, I'm scared, Dad. He's talking about Diddy again.
Scared, Dad. He's talking about Diddy again. Ryan Garcia keeping it gangster. That's why, yeah, it's 420. You already know what time it is. He seems mighty confident. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
I didn't do nothing Puffy did. Yeah, no, it was just so excitement. There's so much excitement that there was no reason for me to put something in our drink.
Oh my goodness.
I need you to remember. I need you to remember this. Huh?
The foundation.
He said, he's done nothing Puffy did. I need you to remember. I wonder what he got up his sleeve. Think you know? Let me know in the comments down below.
Where was Jesus from the age of 12 to 32? Where was he? Where was he? Where was Jesus from the age of 12 to 32? Somebody type it in the comment box. Where was he? Where did he exist? Where was he? Where was he located on this planet from age of 12? Name me the exact countries he went to. Somebody said Jewish carpenter. Good job, Michael. Okay, thanks, Chris. He was in Egypt. For somebody got some knowledge. He was in Egypt. At 12, he went to Egypt to an area called Coptic Cairo with a C, C-O-P-T-I-C, Coptic Cairo, where the cross already long existed, long before Christianity even came into existence. Jesus was not a Christian because Christianity didn't exist. Christ consciousness existed, and there had been many Christs that had walked the planet long before Yeshua, because his name isn't Jesus. I'm only saying Jesus to make you guys understand who I'm talking about. The name is Yeshua, okay? And so the house that he lived in is a shrine. I've been to the house several times. It's in Coptic Cairo. The bed he slept in is still there in the basement crypt area. It's still there. The name is engraved in the windowsill. Him and his mom both went there and lived there. While he was there, what did he do? What did Jesus do? He went to go study the Egyptian mysteries. Yeah. The Egyptian mysteries taught by who? Thoth. T-H-O-T-H. The king of knowledge and wisdom. Tahuti, by many names, you know him, by many names. Kukulkan, Viracocha, by many, many names around this planet. Thor, Mercury, same person. So he went there to learn the Egyptian mysteries. He became an adept initiate into the ancient Egyptian mysteries, by the way. An adept initiate, handpicked adept initiate, and went in deep there. Once he learned the Egyptian mysteries and all the esoteric wisdom and metaphysics, where'd he go next? Tibet. He went to Tibet to learn Reiki healing with his hands, Qigong, and all those arts. He got accepted by the Tibetan monks. But see, they won't teach you this in Bible study. You'll never hear this in Bible study. You'll never hear this. You got to read the Gospel of the Holy 12 on your own because they're never going to pull it out in church. You know why? They don't even know it exists. They don't even know the Gospel of the Holy 12 even exists. Then after he left Tibet, where did he go? Where'd he go? Now, any Christians on here, guys, you're basing your eternity off of loving this guy, but you don't even know nothing about him. He left Tibet and he went to India to learn the mystic arts. Yeah, mystic arts. The stuff that now Christians call demonic and evil. No, he went to learn the mystic arts. So everything that he went and studied from the age of 12 to 32 to make him who he was, now if you go to church and talk about these things, they kick you out they excommunicate you from the church because they say you're worshiping the devil. After he left India, what did he do? He taught reincarnation all the way back down into Egypt along the way. Reincarnation. Yeah, just like Thoth teaches reincarnation. And the ability to ascend to a high level to where you can incarnate at will. Thoth says he can even incarnate in and on the plane he desires. He can incarnate in a multidimensional status. He can go to different dimensions. In and on and at will. At will, he can transfer consciousness into another avatar body. At will. This is what Jesus was learning. And so that's why when you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, I put Thoth's verses right next to Yeshua's verses in the modern day Bible. So you can see that Yeshua was just quoting Thoth the Atlantean, his teacher. That's what he was doing. He was quoting the words of his own teacher, his master. Because the Emerald Tablets were written 36,000 years ago. So which came first, the chicken or the egg? See, y'all, you think you have a little bit of knowledge, but then you realize, if you drop your ego, you realize you don't know anything. A lot of you don't even know. You have no clue. I put 40 years in. Over 1,000 books, scriptures, cylinder scrolls, tablets, cuneiform, papyruses, traveling the world, meeting with indigenous cultures, meeting with sages, meeting with elders, meeting with homegrown archaeologists and homegrown guides in these jungles, hiking 37 miles through the jungles of Cambodia to temples, doing the Inca Trail, 3-day hike through the jungles, flying over the Nazca lines, going to all these places all around the world, in person, climbing up the Grand Gallery into the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. Guys, there's a lot to learn out here, but you're not going to get it staying inside of your zip code. And so if you can't travel, you can't get out and do these things. There's so much research material out here, but research goes deeper than watching somebody on YouTube and doing a Google search with your fingers. A 2-second Google search. Oh, I know everything now. No, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Show me the passport stamps. Get me a pastor that has the passport stamps that I have that can match me up passport to passport. Let's sit down and let's talk. Let's have an open discussion. The limit of his knowledge is always going to fall back on what the biblical text is. The only thing I've done this so many times, is why I know. I've done this. I did this in person with somebody just a couple of weeks ago. They fall back on scriptures and they start quoting scriptures again. That's the height of their knowledge. They don't have anything past that. So all they can do is keep falling back on what they already have. But see, I got the Bible, I got the Quran, but I got everything that those books came from. And I studied them intently and researched them. I even have the Hebrew. Let me find it. Where's my book on Hebrew? This in here? It's facts. And I got so much stuff. I be going in, guys. Y'all have no idea. Herbal medicine. It must be in that other room. Let's see what we got here. Tolsky Crater. I got so much stuff. I got books downstairs inside of my other part of the office that I didn't even show you. But anyway, regardless, the fact of the matter is this.
That was a great question, though. From 12 to 32, right? I didn't know. Definitely got to do more research, but he makes a good point, man. You know, that 37-mile hike sounded very interesting through the jungle. You know, I think that would be pretty dope.
No, because while all this stuff that's been going on in the world is reminding me of American Horror Story Apocalypse Season, let's talk about it. Now, I talk a lot about this show because I feel like it is really woke and it is completely accurate with a lot of stuff that they talk about. So if you haven't watched the show or this episode, I'm about to give y'all a whole rundown of why I feel like it's reminding me of what's going on right now in the world. So this whole series was basically talking about the end times, the apocalypse, the end of the world, whatever you want to call it. And the world didn't end in a natural way. The world ended on the show because of the higher ups and the Antichrist. Yeah. So the dude that is like the spawn of Satan, so the son of Satan is the Antichrist. He, ever since he was a kid, he's just been super evil. Like, I'm talking about anybody that worked for them at their house, he would kill. As a little kid, he would kill all type of little animals. I'm talking about birds, all type of stuff. It was just really bad. He even had like the mark of the beast or something on the back of his ear. It was crazy. So the lady that raised him was just so tired of burying all the nannies and maids and all this in the backyard. So she kicked him to the curb. So at this point, he's like a teenager. He's lost. He's the Antichrist. But he knows it, but he doesn't quite know like his powers yet. So he stumbles across this Church of Satan, where he meets one of the members that was actually really nice to him. And she finds out that he is the spawn of Satan. Now, everybody in this church, or whatever you want to call it, was waiting on this day. Like, that's all they've been waiting on was the Antichrist, of course, for obvious reasons. Their goal was to end the world and restart it over in the devil's image. So the lady that was basically helping the boy out, because at this point he was homeless and he just stumbled across the church and he met her there, she let him stay at her house. He was feeding him and everything like this. And he lost the only person that ever loved him, which was this lady that basically taught him everything he knew about like Satan and all that. So she was like, we can find her, we can get her back. We got powers, we got connections to everywhere, all over the world. And he was like, you can't do that because she's gone. And he was like, yes, we can. So she take him to this multi-billion-dollar tech company ran by these two boys that you would probably think like would be in their mom's basement playing the video games. And they were the cooperative. Y'all already know the other word for it, but I'm not going to say it on here because, you know, TikTok. They said how they sold their soul, and that's how they got the most biggest tech company in the world. And those two boys that ran that tech company helped the Antichrist in the world. So the only people that were saved were the people that was in the cooperative and the super rich people that could afford underground bunkers. Haven't a lot of these rich people been talking about how they have bunkers and all these underground shelters? Yeah, all right. But I said all that to say the world was ended by the higher ups. And the only people that survived were the people that can afford it and people with a specific blood type. I'm not gonna say his name, but y'all already know who this story reminds me of. His initials is EM, and he's super rich. But let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Is the truth hidden in plain sight? Now I gotta go watch this series right here. Sounds like that story that the nanny was telling. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Look what happens when you look at the solar eclipse through a welding mask, you guys. The sun is pulsating. But look at that. Why are there 3 orbs around the sun? I'm not tripping, y'all, right? There are 3 orbs around the sun. But look at that, y'all. The sun is pulsating. Y'all see that? It pulsating bright red and bright blue. It's like there's like a fight going on. Y'all see that? Right? Now I understand she's using a welding mask, but still, this is not the first time we've caught the sun pulsating. Look at this. This is in different parts of the country, right? This is in Florida. Look at that. Right? It's pulsating. This right here is another part of Florida. This is Sanibel Island. Look at that. Y'all see the sun pulsating over here, right? Y'all see that? Just a camera, no welding mask. What? Y'all see that? And then this one over here in Connecticut, right? Y'all can see the sun pulsating. Now you can clearly see the blue and the red Kachina, right? Y'all see that? They're fighting. It's pulsating. And then the sun is pulsating over here. But then you see these. Look at that, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly. Do you guys see that? Oh man. And here it is during the solar eclipse again. Another orb by the sun, y'all. Y'all see that? You guys see that, right? What is going on? So I don't believe it's just a welding mask because the sun has been pulsating and it's still doing it. Again, we can't see things with our naked eye. You know, not every single day we're looking up in the sky with a welding mask. But it goes to show you our sky is doing some magnificent things because they are trying to hide what's going on up there, y'all. Even though they're still telling us to look up. But this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during this interesting times. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this. Thank you for tuning into my frequency. Keep up with me on my other accounts, especially on my YouTube, where I go deeper on the esoteric level of these topics at hand. Let's continue to get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
So yeah, that was my first time seeing it through a welding mask. You know? That's crazy. Something was definitely pulsating. There's something definitely chilling over there to the right. Like, yeah, we can't see everything with the naked eye, but dang, how we miss all of that? Like, yeah, I'm happy we got cell phones these days.
The movie The Matrix is not science fiction. It's a documentary. Every human, and it's a fact, every human first 7 years is download a hypnosis. The brain of a child under 7 is in a lower vibrational frequency. When you put wires on a person's head, you read electroencephalograph. A child below 7 has a lower vibration than consciousness. It's called theta. Theta is imagination. Theta is also hypnosis. And the idea is this: before you can become conscious, if you don't have any programs, what are you going to be conscious of? 95% of our life, is a fact, comes from those programs in the subconscious. Give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man.
Tyler, on sort of a philosophic, political level, he definitely represents, I think, a very Nietzschean impulse toward the idea of nihilism as a practical approach. It's a lot like sort of Nietzsche's Zarathustra. It's the idea that nothing can change in a positive way unless a lot of the old values are ripped down. What gets explored in this film is the idea that nihilism is a very sexy idea when you're young and feel frustrated, but that becoming mature means recognizing the practical limits and in some ways the hypocrisies that nihilism lends itself to.
I just feel like a character has to say something. Even if it's stupid something, a character has to stand for something and has to risk saying the wrong thing. Even if it's just so somebody else can step forward and say, oh, that's full of shit. At least they're saying something. Taking responsibility for their viewpoint, which is really what Tyler's speeches were about. Expressing himself even more so than sort of coming up with a vision or a dream.
Shout out to the movie Fight Club, Brad Pitt, the whole cast. I saw this movie when I was really young. It always fascinated me, but I could never really grasp the mystery of it all, right? I'm still learning. Just like a Matrix, one of the movies that it has its own rabbit hole. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Nietzsche captures life. He captures all of those qualities. It's like a river that just overflows everything. Hello everyone. I have the pleasure of being able to introduce my absolute favorite writer on the planet since I was a young man. He's sitting here right next to me. No, I'm just kidding. His name is Friedrich Nietzsche. I think I discovered Nietzsche when I was about 15 years old, and I probably didn't really understand a word of what he wrote. It took years, but I have over the years had many writers that I loved when I was 18, and I look at them now and go, what the hell was I thinking? People in my 20s, well, I don't know. In my 30s and 40s, I look back and yeah, it's okay. Nietzsche's the one person, I swear to you, that I never, ever grow tired. I might, if I live so long, be in my 90s, I'll still be reading Nietzsche. It'll still be relevant. It'll still be socking me in the stomach the same way it did when I was 15 years old, even though I didn't understand a word of what he was writing about. So what is it about this strange man with his bushy mustache, Nietzsche, that was so compelling to me? Well, he's different from all the other philosophers out there. All the other philosophers, they have this kind of idea about life, Kant or Schopenhauer or Hegel or Plato. It's this idea that this is what life is. They have an idea, a concept, a system of which they approach every problem and they put it in their great system. And you read it and you go, yeah, that's interesting, but there's something else missing that's not quite capturing life. Nietzsche captures life. He captures all of those qualities. It's like a river that just overflows everything. Contradicts himself from one book to the other, but you don't notice it because he's so alive, he's so authentic in each moment. He's not trying to create a system. He's not trying to fit all of human experience, all of the ideas, and preach to you about a particular way of looking at the world, a particular way of being. He's just going with the moment. He's expressing things that he's feeling, very powerful emotions. Some of them contradict himself, but he hates systems. And it's very refreshing to read somebody like that who's so lifelike and so authentic. It's kind of like a volcano that's erupting. He was a very emotional man, and he poured those emotions into all of his books and ideas, but in a controlled. He's also an incredibly brilliant writer with beautiful style of language. I often, when I try and imitate a writer, I wish I could be like Nietzsche. He will have these sections, and everything is kind of divided up. He never writes like in a lot of his books. Some of them, it's not true, but a lot of his books are sort of short, a page or 2 pages or 3 pages on a single idea. I remember reading about these excerpts when I was a kid, where he would have one side of the argument where someone would say, well, this is what's going on, And then he would have the opposite side, which was clearly his opinion, and he would meld this into one argument, and it was like he was arguing with himself. It was so interesting. It's so unusual. Nobody writes like him. Nobody thinks like him. And the thing is, I'm reading right now a book that's discussing his life, actually at this very moment, for a chapter I'm writing in my new book. I knew it, but I didn't quite realize it. In the 15 years which he wrote his most important works, which he was basically continually alone, he was physically suffering pain that is very hard for most people to understand. Every moment of his life, he was dealing with incredible pain in his body. He had headaches. He had all sorts of gastrointestinal problems. He says, mornings he was throwing up all the time. He was taking all kinds of medications to help him just get through the day. And yet, he created this idea called amor fati, love of fate, embracing your fate, embracing the pain of life. I thought that was a beautiful thing when I read it. Through the lens of how much he suffered and he created that philosophy is actually mind-blowing. And so that idea of not fitting into a system is what we call perspectival. Nietzsche does have one philosophy, which is everybody has a perspective in life. And that perspective actually changes in the course of your life. That's what it means to be alive. Nobody has one set idea. There's no one truth out there. There is no one reality, okay? And one of his most famous arguments is in the Bible. Pontius Pilate asks Christ who he is. He says, Ecce homo, here is the man. And what is truth? Pontius Pilate asks, I am the truth. And Nietzsche goes, no, nobody is the truth. There is no one truth. Everything depends on people's perspectives. Every philosopher has a perspective, and that philosophy might come from the stomach pains that they're having, from the way their brain is wired, from a headache they have in the morning. So to reiterate, the lifelikeness of Nietzsche, the fact that he captures the contradictory, the various emotions we all feel, the back and forth, the richness of life in his philosophy is unique. There is nobody like him on this planet. I just am always astounded when I read him. He always makes me feel like I'm this small because I can't compare to his absolute brilliance. So that's what Nietzsche means to me.
Yo, shout outs to Robert Greene. I didn't even know he had a TikTok. Just researching the subject. And there he goes. If you don't know, Robert Greene is the author, 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, The 50th Law with 50 Cent, right? One of my favorite authors of all time. But to see him so fascinated by the subject, and it seems that he's inspired by, the philosophy of it all, right? I never had a philosopher that, I had a favorite of, so I simply really didn't know anything about it, I knew their names, but I didn't know what they stood for. So it's pretty cool to see this, like, oh, okay, well, I know Plato. That's about it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Who's your favorite philosopher?
If you say the name Nietzsche to most educated people in the West nowadays, what they immediately think of is the Nazis. And the Nazis seem to have appropriated Nietzsche as their philosopher in the same sort of way as they appropriated Wagner as their composer. And that's had the effect ever since of contaminating the reputation of those two geniuses in the minds of large numbers of people. Now, is it fair or is it unfair to associate Nietzsche with fascism?
I think he must be associated with it to some extent, and fascism rather than National Socialism. It was Mussolini who read him extensively, who received a copy of the collected works from the Führer on the Brenner in 1938 as a present.
Why should you read the books of Friedrich Nietzsche, and where should you start? Just how much do the beliefs society forces upon you control your life? We might not live in as much of a Christian-dominated society as Nietzsche did, but we do have these beliefs shoved upon us at all times. What counts as a good job? What counts as a good life? Buy nice things, go on exotic trips, go to nice restaurants, buy that iPhone. Don't worry about the planet. Don't worry about the true cost of that $10 shirt from H&M. We have these ideas shouted at us from every platform and every every billboard, and Nietzsche is the perfect writer to help you deconstruct those ideas. Nietzsche doesn't just break down Christian ideals, but all ideas, getting down to the very building blocks of language and how our morality is employed and informs that language. The first time I read Nietzsche was literally a numbing experience, as I could feel the kind of world that I thought I knew around me start to break down. He's possibly the first existential philosopher, but unlike most of the other philosophers that came after him, he's also an amazing storyteller, employing mythology and really expressive language. It's why he's more famous with artists generally than philosophers. He has some crazy leaps of intellectual thinking, but you often will think more with your heart than your mind when you're reading Nietzsche. But Nietzsche is not just an intellectual bulldozer. Don't ever call him a nihilist. His most famous phrase from The Gay Science, "God is dead, we have killed him," is also his most misunderstood. He took it as a given that we've killed God in this industrial era that we're living in, but his real question was not God is dead, it's God is dead, now what? He wants us to love our fate, to say yes to life at all times, to make meaning out of the meaningless. This is why a lot of Nietzsche quotes can read like self-help. He's sick of people just waiting for an afterlife, or in the modern case, just waiting for that bigger promotion. He wants you to start living life right now. This makes reading Nietzsche a very personal experience, and why he's been loved by Nazis, by the far left, by philosophy bros, but most of all by artists, because it's that kind of sense of taking charge of your life and seeing what's beyond these society accepted beliefs that has been so powerful for artists ever since he wrote. So where do you start with such a madman like him? So for all of my Secret History fans out there, Donna Tartt was massively influenced by The Birth of the Tragedy with how she was talking about mythology. So that could be a good place to start. It was Nietzsche's first book, but you do need to know a lot of Greek history and culture to really appreciate it. For most people, I'd say start with Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's his most literary, his most story-like. You won't understand everything, but just let him take you along for the ride and he'll lead you to some pretty trippy places. Just don't forget about genealogy and morality as your North Star. This is his greatest book. This is the one that's going to really blow your mind. I've never been the same since.
So if you want to dive deeper into the Nietzsche, there goes some literature you could catch up on. I've never heard of this guy. I was brought here, from a video watching the, philosophy of Fight Club, which is one of my favorite movies with Brad Pitt. It always fascinated me. Then I came across this video talking about Nietzsche, and I was like, okay, just wrote it down. It happened before I was going to bed and shit. But very intrigued. So yeah, this is a learning experience for me. Talking about it, just like everything else, just soaking it all in. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
What exactly is good? Nietzsche says all that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, and power itself in man. Hands down, my absolute favorite theory that comes from Nietzsche is this one, this concept of a will to power. It's not power in the traditional sense that you might be thinking. When Nietzsche is talking about a will to power, it's more like this, where he's talking about the ability to do something, the ambition to do something, the freedom to do something. He says that anything that is living and not a dying body will strive to grow, to spread, to seize, to become dominant. From fungi to bacteria to trees to human beings, anything that is alive will have a desire to grow itself, to spread itself, and to actualize its full potential. The will to power is the ambition to be all that you can be. And Nietzsche believes that that ambition lives in every living being on earth.
Shout outs to Felicia for the win. And her favorite Nietzsche quote. But I do agree with that though. Everything living has got to grow, right? Plant, human, animal, it all grows. So, I can see that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Do you guys see this? This is supposedly the moon in Las Vegas. Why is there an eclipse in the moon, you guys? And why does it look like it's a planet that's in front of the so-called moon? Do you guys see that? And then this flashing thing over here, look at this. Look at that, because that's not a, that's more than a star, but it's flashing and pulsating. Y'all see that? But what is going on with the moon, you guys? Why is it like that? Look at that, y'all. Even with a closer shot, why does it look like there is... This is weird, y'all. Do you guys see that? How weird is this? What is going on here, y'all? This looks like they're... What? Hold on. Could that be the moon and then there's a light? This is a light shining under it? This is so weird, y'all. Why is that so bright? When has the moon been this bright? When has the moon... This is not it, y'all. But yeah, y'all, and it keeps changing shapes. Y'all see that? And then this, look at that. That and this. Oh man, this is crazy. All I can say is very interesting times that we live in right now, y'all. We're gonna see it all unfold right in front of us. All I know is everyone has been telling me that the energy is off. They feel some type of way ever since this solar eclipse, and we are seeing so many anomalies happening around the solar eclipse. So you guys see it, you know, multiple suns and multiple moons, skies glitching, there's planets in the sky, there's comets going, aliens, UFOs, spaceships. There's so many things happening in the sky all at once. When they made that movie Don't Look Up, they were really telling y'all to look up, because it's gonna get a lot more interesting, y'all. But this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this. Thank you for tuning into my frequency. Let's continue to get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
Shout out to Conscious Juice. He's been on it. He said he would. 2 days after the solar eclipse, and a random lunar eclipse in Vegas pops up out of nowhere. Can't lie, yo, that was really weird. I don't know, maybe there's got to be some explanation. If you know, you know. Let me know in the comments down below.
I'm old. I no longer remember the first rule of Fight Club.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you haven't already, please take a second just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So what we're gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.